Good afternoon, members of the public. I'm going to convene this meeting with roll call. Commissioner Andrades is absent. Commissioner Field.
Here.
Commissioner Fuentes.
Here.
Commissioner Levine.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Matt.
Here.
Commissioner Mesa is present. Commissioner Morrison.
Here.
Commissioner Murray will be joining us. Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein. Here. Commissioner Thomas will be joining us. Commissioner Yap is absent. Have a quorum. Commissioners, I'm going to do ex parte communication. Since I don't have the motion in front of me, just a reminder to the public and to the commissioners, an ex parte communication is a member with an elected official in the city of Los Angeles or their staff. If you do have an ex parte communication to disclose, please let us know the contents of the communication, who the communication was with, the date and time of the communication, if applicable. And if there is a disclosure, the staff will put up the disclosure within 72 hours on the website. I'll go around the dais to ask if there are any disclosures. Commissioner Fuentes.
No.
Commissioner Field.
No.
Commissioner Stein.
No.
Commissioner Mesa has none. Commissioner Mack.
None.
Commissioner Morrison.
None.
Commissioner Levine.
None.
Thank you, commissioners. We will now move to public comment. If I could get the list, please. Give the staff 1 minute to get the list. There will be a maximum of 1 hour allotted for public comment today. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to provide public comment and did not sign up for public comment? What's your name, sir? David. All right, we'll do 3 minutes of public comment per speaker. We'll take public comment at this podium. I have Mark, Ross, and then Wayne. This is Mark Flores. Marco, I'm sorry. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Good afternoon, my name is Marco Flores, and just to let you guys know, I am part-time field deputy for Council President Mark Ferris-Dawson. I am off the clock. I am a retired administrator and I just work part-time for him. But I am also the vice president of the North Area Neighborhood Development Council, NANDAC. And again, to let you know, 20-some years ago, I did testify in front of the Charter Commission then. I did help write the language for the neighborhood councils. I was involved with Margaret Lee Thomas Empowerment Congress, which was used as a model for, in the study for the neighborhood councils. And when we started developing my neighborhood council, I live around USC. I was the one who stood in front of the Dun and defended it and created the council. So I have a little bit of experience to it. Today I am here to ask you guys that when you write languages, when the council was first developed, it was supposed to be an independent group that guided and helped in our council members to make decisions about our communities. It's not that. The council members barely talk to us. Some of them, I'm very happy that our present council member does. I don't know if it's because of me or because of the other presidents, but he does. The other thing is, I think more importantly, is about our funding. We have gone up and down at this point. We've had thousands and tens of thousands of dollars cut from our budget. And when we talk about the councils being independent, when we don't have money to do things, when we have to be asking permission from the city or have to be asking council members of commission or other departments for assistance or funding, there is no independence. We're dependent on the city for things that we want to do. Within the last couple of years, we've been reduced tens of thousands of dollars from our budget, where we used to sponsor arts programs, poetry readings, cultural events, used to be partnering with different things in our communities. We can't do that anymore. Right now, that was one of the discussions I just happened to have with the secretary, where one of our poets from South LA, Spitfire Poets, wants us to partner with them, and basically we have to say we don't have any money. And we are, last time we met up in March, and that's it, we're done. we're done. We sponsored them for, the February event, and they want to do one for Women's History Month, and then another one for Juneteenth, and you have no more meeting. Stop committed, and if this was last year, we could at least have done one. If this was 3 years ago, we could have done a lot more with this particular group that promotes poetry in South LA. So again, please,
Thank
forty
you, sir.
thousand
That's fine.
dollars,
Thank you, sir. That's time.
$40,000 guaranteed. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Ross, Wayne, and then Rob.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ross Whitestrapper with KRF LA. I want to start by uplifting the letter from California Clean Money Campaign and their coalition, which we presented to you on public campaign financing. The small tweaks they suggest will fully realize this commission's already approved recommendation. The League of Women Voters has also submitted a letter to you in public comment asking a question of process that is worth highlighting. Will you read and vote on the final report? Process is critical because credibility is critical for buy-in for any of the reforms you submit to council members who might not even know what you've been working on. Being able to say, we read the final report and voted yes on it is the least you can do to value all of the really valuable work that you've done to date. And that work's value is why I'm personally just disappointed that on Tuesday, some of you decided that some of the work some commissioners have done together over many months is not even worth a seat in the back of your report. The desire by some commissioners, especially new ones, to devalue other commissioners' hours of discussion and deliberation about PRCB and elected public advocate is not just disrespectful to the public, the process, and yourselves, but it also undermines the credibility of this report when some facts and some commissioners are allowed to be part of the story of this commission and others are not. The story of reforming Los Angeles is a long one that goes beyond this commission. And to anyone who's paid attention, they know that it has crazy ideas, colorful characters, and a lot of heart. When dreams of reform take decades to build, no act of advocacy is wasted, and no act of advocacy should be erased from that story. Please revisit your vote on this subject. Thank you. And I have a letter from the League of Women Voters to distribute.
Wayne.
Oh, thank you, Commissioners. I'm Wayne Williams, board member of the California Clean Money Campaign, speaking on behalf of a coalition including Common Cause of California, League of Women Voters of Los Angeles, LA for Democracy Vouchers, Unrig LA, and LA Forward. We've just submitted a letter asking you to make a few simple changes to your proposed federal amendments in agenda item F. Thank you very much for proposing these amendments. The language in the agenda goes a long way towards opening the door to different forms of public financing of campaigns that a number of different council members have been interested in at various times. But in our view, it requires several minor additional changes to fully allow the city to pursue other types of public financing in the future, including democracy vouchers, as in Seattle and Oakland, or full public funding, clean election systems similar to those in Arizona, Connecticut, Maine, and Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have 4 specific requests. First, in section 471A to C, we're asking you to strike the word limited from the commission's new limited public funding language. Retaining limited risks excluding full public funding systems and could even be read to exclude stronger matching fund systems like New York City's, where qualified candidates can receive up to 89% of their expenditure limits in public funds. Second, this is our most important request. In section 471B, we're asking you to strike the single word partially from the phrase partially financed qualified campaigns. That one word would unnecessarily rule out public funding systems entirely. Simply removing it leaves the city free to adopt any financing model by ordinance. Third, in section 471C1, we're asking you to add or more after the $2 million in annual appropriation requirement. We're not asking for more money now. We simply want to ensure the charter can't be read to cap the trust fund allocation at the current CPI adjusted amount. More robust public financing systems like democracy vouchers would almost certainly require more funding to be meaningful. And Commissioner Stern suggested this specific language for exactly that reason. Fourth, in section 471C4, we're asking you to add language ensuring the city can accept grants from other government entities such as the county, state, and federal governments to help fund public financing programs. These are 4 small changes that would make a big difference in ensuring the city is fully flexible to implement the most effective public financing system possible in the future. I'll share the letter with the exact language we're requesting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We have Rob, and then after Rob is Michael, Nicholas, and David. Rob?
They made themselves.
So the last meeting was a really unusually big disappointment. Not saying a lot. And it really has nothing to do with the specific policy votes. I've told you before, I don't get hung up on that. What I care about is getting good reform to the council in a good report that has a viable chance of making it through the council and to voters. I've been whining for 6 months about staffing and having a good quality report. And yet here we are. And I would just remind everybody, Justin likes using the plane metaphor so much. We're all on this plane together, this plane of reforms, and we go down together. So it doesn't matter if, you know, my pet issue makes it through, if the whole thing goes down. I submitted a memo and it illustrates some of my concerns with you blindly voting on transmission of a report without actually seeing a draft of it. I just really think you all need to think long and hard about your name being on this report and you being able to confidently stand behind that. I would really encourage you to fix that today, correct it, be clear that we're coming back before the 2nd to have a vote. Otherwise, we're gonna have to whip up media coverage. And it's just gonna look really bad and silly that this independent commission is not gonna be able to have its own voice on its report. There was discussion about the website serving as the primary resource. That's not gonna cut it. I promise you, you are gonna get chewed out by these council members. They're gonna wanna know where their $1 million went. They need a straightforward, clear report. They are not paying close attention. This is the single document that is supposed to get them caught up to speed and sell them on these reports, not just hand them over. I don't know why we're approaching this as if the staff in this report is not supposed to sell people on this report, on these reforms. Tuesday, we had 3 items that would have all passed if we had a couple commissioners there who were missing. And the fact that they can't just be thrown in the appendix, this is a common courtesy with redistricting commissions and reform commissions. You look at the Municipal Reform Commission, they said we want to move our election dates. Commissioner Dar, he submitted one alongside 2 other commissioners dissenting. One commissioner had a concurring report. Commissioner Dar had his own separate report explaining his suggestion. You are inviting a minority report, inviting a dissenting opinion. And you can't stop it, Raymond. What did Rachel Torres do in redistricting 2021? A bunch of them submitted a report to the council file itself. You can't block it. So instead of doing that, let's actually just let the policy stuff speak and let's not invoke the drama. Keep in mind that redistricting commission, one of those supplemental reports came from Sonia Diaz. And she expanded on their recommendation for council expansion and said, here's my 5-page report on this. That was the foundation for us being able to move forward. These reports matter for building on future work.
Michael? After Michael, we have Nicholas and then David.
Hi again, great to see you all again. So the other day during the RCV charter text discussion, Commissioners Field and Matt raised the question about does this mean primaries don't exist any longer? And staff said, yes, it implies that. But actually, there are several sections where the code has to be changed, from 400 to 428 in the city charter has types of elections. It goes into great details of how primaries are to be constructed. In the original text that I planned to send to you, that was gonna be in there. I didn't end up included in my 3 minutes. I won't go into why, but it should have been. So I mentioned to Max is gonna talk to the city attorney and make sure that that cleanup language happens so that when RCB language is considered, there's nothing conflicting in the code. The second thing is that the discomfort people have with a lot of the city council process should be contrasted here. And people should feel like this is a positive alternative to some of the depressing ways that some of the council business is done. And I can only say from my time on the council, it would have been a common courtesy for the co-sponsor of a proposal who couldn't be there after 6 months because of a prior business commitment out of the city, that there hasn't been a effort made to accommodate that person in the process. And now that we saw that the PRC vote had a majority of you, and I respect people's opinion on both sides, but had a majority of you, and had Commissioner Thomas, let alone Yap, I don't know where Yap would have been on it, but presuming Thomas would have supported his own proposal, would have passed and been in the appendix. As Mr. Kwan was suggesting before, I guess he's gone to watch the Lakers now, which is where I'll go, is that it's not good for the press to be the ones to report why PRCV isn't in there. Especially since the text that would have been included has the only mapping data whatsoever that substantiates even your 25. Nothing other than that is there. So it's not a good look for this commission not to have put that in the appendix because one person who would have voted for it wasn't here. And I hope that people on the prevailing side, a few of you are here today, before this commission's business is done, make a vote to reconsider, to simply say without more public debate, so we don't go off, and Reverend Thomas speaks for 20 minutes on it, but simply allow them to cast their vote. Finally, I also support you taking a final vote on the final report. That's another thing where I think it's an unseemly look to the public that you haven't even voted on the final text and it just goes to staff later on, which is no insult to staff, but you gotta vote on your own report. So thanks and go Lakers.
I got Nicholas and then David. Nick.
Hi, everyone. This time I will address my request to the commission, but also first to the staff. What I want to say is that I met with a senior deputy for Councilmember Katie Yaroslavsky today. He's a very, very nice man. What he informed me, and again, could be wrong.
You have a disclosure for me?
No, it's, well, not the part that I told you, but the point is that the council member was unaware of the sheer breadth of things that we were talking about. She was unaware that we were talking about things like personnel and hiring or budget, or the sheer detail that this commission was going into. It is important that the final report emphasize that all of these reforms are not just spot checks that are just like nice to haves here. They do not exist in a vacuum. They work well when more of them are put in. They complement each other. And the language of the final report has to make that abundantly clear. Echoing the previous people who spoke here, it needs to emphasize the detail that went into this process. Everyone from the New York City Comptroller's Office to Catalyst, California, to your local dog person came up and talked to you guys and provided data, and it needs to make it abundantly clear that all of these reforms work better when they're allowed to work together. And secondly, I want to address the commission. We cannot escape the fact, the reality, that whatever ballot measure, whether it's 1 or 7 or 1,000 come from this, will be complicated and they will be kneecapped at the ballot box because of that. People have a harder time voting yes on things that are complicated. So the reason I've come up here and oftentimes recommended things that I personally thought weren't damaging, but I didn't think they would necessarily be helpful. Many things I thought would be tremendously helpful, and that's why I advocated for that. But there are a few things that I thought would be a little bit helpful, and I advocated for them too. And you want to know why? Because a complicated ballot measure needs a few sugar cubes thrown into it. It needs things that the people want, even if they only make marginal benefits in reality. So that is why I say, when you're about to take a reform or a measure on being a little nice to neighborhood councils, or talking about a chief coordination officers, or having better auditability for a controller. These are all things I think are hugely important, but they are important not just because they're functioning, but to get voters 50% plus one, you need a few sugar cubes in there to let the public know that that this is in their best interest. And to that, I would like to say, consider potentially a CIP that patches some of the definition of the language that was in there. Be a little nice to the neighborhood councils when you're voting on them today. And the stuff that the people here are asking for, there is a reason they are asking for it. And if you want the real work that you have done for 8, 9 plus forever months to actually have a shot at getting through some of it, give the public a few sugar cubes. And to the staff, please emphasize, explain, and be abundantly clear that these reforms
Thank you.
are better together. Thank you.
David?
Good afternoon, commissioners, and to everyone here. My name is David Toppenberg. I am a member of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council. Professionally, I am a lawyer with United Here Local 11, a union representing roughly 30,000 hotel, airport, and other service workers across the LA metro area. I'm here in my personal capacity as a member of the Neighborhood Council and Local 11. I want to express support for measures that strengthen democratic transparency, accountability, and expand the public's voice over their elected officials. This includes proposals to expand city council, increase auditing authority, adopt ranked choice voting, and so on. As several members of the public have said, I also encourage the commission to empower the neighborhood councils into truly independent bodies with less bureaucratic red tape to act on behalf of their constituents. The neighborhood councils also need to be fully funded to fulfill their mandates and their democratic function for each of our communities. With respect to today's agenda, I want to voice my support also for the vacancies provision, and also suggest a revision that the commission consider expanding the language so that individuals appointed to fill vacancies of less than 1 year are not eligible to run for subsequent full terms. This would prevent any incumbent advantage for appointed officials and help ensure that the democratic will of voters fully determines who serves on the city council. Thanks very much, and I look forward to continuing to engage with the commission and the community.
Is there anyone who wishes to provide public comment but has not provided comment yet?
Okay, seeing none, we will move on to neighborhood council community impact statements. Are there any approved neighborhood council community impact statements? Okay, does not look like there are. Okay, then we will, commissioners, I know that there's a number of commissioners who probably like me to put some coins in their meters, so let's do this. Let's take a 15-minute recess. We will reconvene at 5:05. Thank you.
I took the J line here.
They don't take it.
Wait, who said they don't take it?
Yeah.
You
I
wanna-
just green.
That's why.
Fitting nature of these being.
So,
Us talking about vacancies and then having a meeting delayed because we had 2 vacant seats. That was really funny. I had a funny tweet about it and now I can't post it because it won't load and now it's too late.
Did I ruin your tweet, Rob?
Huh?
I ruined your tweet by filling up?
No, it was the service, the lack of service.
But I filled up.
Yes, now I would have to.
Hey, I'm David. That you usually.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with some more later.
Members of the public, commissioners, I'm gonna reconvene the meeting and conduct roll call. Commissioner Andrade is absent. Commissioner Field.
Here.
Commissioner Fuentes.
There.
Commissioner Levine. Here. Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Matt.
Here.
Commissioner Mesa is present. Commissioner Morrison.
Here.
Commissioner Murray.
Present.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein. Here. Commissioner Thomas will be joining us. Commissioner Yap is absent.
Yeah, this meeting or next week.
Yeah. Commissioners, we now move on to item number one, consideration and possible approval of potential better government charter language.
Wait, what happened to the executive director report? Aren't we gonna do that?
Oh, I apologize, that was my oversight. Executive Director, if I could have you come up for your report on outreach and other matters.
So I don't have too much of a formal report today because I'm gonna do a more in-depth one on Tuesday. For our final meeting, which will include a letter. I didn't send a letter this week just because we have that big one, and I did catch up a lot of stuff on Tuesday when I spoke about the outline. We are working after that outline was approved. We redoubled our efforts. We've been working on moving those pieces forward. Again, including work with City Fabric as we get pieces to them. They will be plugging it into a very nicely designed product. The train keeps moving. I think we're still, after Tuesday's meeting, still on track to most likely finish approving final charter language this coming Tuesday. So the stars are still aligned as we speak right now for that. So stay tuned.
Commissioner Field.
Yes, thank you. I wanna bring up something regarding Tuesday,
Y'all.
and you're saying it's our last meeting. But some really interesting questions have come up, and I have a suggestion and a request. I think you said the other day we have already 86 items,
Something like that, yes.
something like that, and there's more coming.
Yes, yeah, including today, more items.
Right.
Than Tuesday.
And the concern is, section 4 of your plan, for the
Yes, is the charter language.
Right, right. And the question that has come up is, how detailed of a sort of preface to each of these, actual red line documents. And I wonder, since apparently we will not as a commission see the final report and be meeting to approve it, which, not the best protocol, but apparently that's our schedule. Tuesday, how about a couple of samples?
Yeah, so we have, you are at the same time, for the most part, we're gonna do an omnibus item on Tuesday to make sure. So for each charter amendment, each reform, there is an explainer, and we've been working diligently with subject matter chairs on writing those explainers. For the most part, we still have a few queued up and everything. But as part of the ordinance, we have to not only approve charter language, but explain that charter language. So those are being approved by you so far. You've made several approvals, and we'll do an omnibus for the last week on Tuesday.
Okay, hang on, because we have actually approved some of that sort of
Yes.
preface language for
Commissioner
this item.
Commissioner Field,
I may have been absent.
You may have been. For example, today there is the sheet which is a brief description. On planning and infrastructure, we approved, this commission.
Oh, that
approved.
kind of document.
Yes, as by the ordinance that mandates us to approve the description, this commission has approved the description. There was an oversight that staff flagged for me that at Tuesday's meeting, we did not do the approval of the descriptions. We did do the charter language. That's why Justin mentioned that next Tuesday there will be an omnibus, because we'll review the descriptions and approve it through the normal process. But this commission, in fact, is the one that is improving the descriptions, not anyone else.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
but
that is your official yeah.
right, okay, I'm glad you explained that those single sentences in most cases are what we're gonna have as a preface. And I do want to call out the fact that many of our most devoted advocates, whose attendance has been exceptional in monitoring us, feel that those are not adequate. And I just want to put that on the record, that may not be enough of a description. It might meet the ordinance, but it doesn't really meet, again, assuming that not every council member is passionately following every word we say, it might not be enough information. I do hope, I'm gonna just say here, I really hope from your mouth to God's ear, as we say, that you, meaning the commission, will have elected officials and stakeholders asking you about these reforms, how you arrived at them, what is and isn't in the report. I don't expect to hear from anybody, so it's great if somebody cares enough to reach out and say, well, how did this happen? What happened? Sorry to say, I don't think this is on the top of mind of every Angelino, but okay, so now I understand what is going to be our so-called explainer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, seeing no other questions, thank you, Executive Director. We will move on to item number 1, consideration and possible approval, potential better government charter language. Commissioners, as was noticed online, the council, the staff has been working with the city attorney to get approved language to us for our review. There were a number of items that are going to be postponed until next Tuesday's meeting, just to review that with commissioners. As was noticed to commissioners and posted on the website, the items that we will be reviewing next Tuesday are items A, B, G, H, I, J, K, and L. Again, that's items A, B, G, H, I, J, K, and L. So we will be discussing the remaining items today. Commissioner Sanchez, who was the relevant chairperson, is not with us today, but did ask our colleague, Commissioner Murray, to briefly review each of the items before we go into the discussion of a charter language and potential motions. So I'll hand it over to Commissioner Murray to walk us through item C.
Thank you. These items have been deliberated at length with the Better Government Subcommittee, as well as litigated with the Ad Hoc Committee. Getting to item C and direct your attention to the documents, we have the three documents. We have the agenda, we have the explanations, that is a one-page document. The top elected officials approve reforms, and then also in your packet is the red line language. So we're gonna go in order C, D, E, F, and M. So the first item to discuss is elected officials approve reforms, item number C. The explanation: require the city to hold a special election for vacancies if more than 1 year remains. Further explanation: requires the city to hold a special election for vacancies if more than 1 year remains on the office of the offices of the mayor, city attorney, controller, and member of city council. And furthermore, to correlate that with the red line language in item C. So that's the first item. Second item.
Why don't we just take them one at a time? if you're okay?
Okay, we could do that.
Okay, I will move a motion to approve item C. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, discussion on item C. Commissioner Stein.
I think there's a real conundrum with this, and I'm going back and forth in my own mind. On one hand, the cost of an election, if that were to occur for someone that was resigning or for whatever reason, 1 year and 1 day would mean under this amendment or charter reform that the city would have to pay for an election, which is a substantial amount of money just to run a council election. Can't even conceive of what it costs for if it's a mayor, city attorney, or controller. On the other hand, if it is a council member, the idea of having the CLA, having a representative that's in there for a substantial amount of time, who's really just a placeholder, doesn't have a vote in council to represent the constituents within his or her district. Says, how can we disenfranchise the council district? And I just want that to be brought forth and to be considered. I still honestly in my own haven't made up my mind of which is the lesser of the two evils, the cost to the city or, you know, unfortunately, the cost to a council district. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Field.
Yes, democracy can be expensive, no question. I mean, I have the same worry, but, you know, letting a district languish for a long time without an elected official is kind of bad also. I just want to verify that when it says the council may also appoint a person to hold the office temporarily until the election, yada, yada. Is that a voting council member, or is that one of those placeholders who has no authority at all? They're just making sure that people in the district get their trash picked up.
That's a placeholder.
It
Because
is.
they're not elected, it's not democratic.
Yeah, so it is a caretaker.
Oh, that's the correct word. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
So
thank you.
No worries.
this means that the maximum a caretaker could be there before a special election is basically 6 months, 180 days. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm, you know, understanding the time frame.
No, there would have to be, I would imagine it'd be longer. I don't think it says that, just because a special election would be called,
Well, it says the special election will be held within 180 days of the occurrence of the vacancy. So immediately upon the vacancy, whatever the cause is, that's when this caretaker steps up, meaning people in the district essentially are not represented.
well, it says the council may, so so may gives them the flexibility of potentially not putting in a caretaker.
Oh, that's even worse.
But that hasn't been something that council has done, so I'm not entirely concerned of that. But it doesn't have a strict timeline is the more direct answer to your question.
Okay, yeah, but I'm so sorry. Isn't it a timeline when it says special election shall be held within 180 days of the occurrence?
The
That's
timeline for
time.
the special election, but not for a caretaker to be appointed.
Oh, right, okay, but I guess in my mind, if they have to have the election 6 months after someone is gone. That if they do appoint the caretaker, the maximum they would serve is 6 months. If they choose to do it, right away, right after the vacancy.
58 months is a runoff.
Oh, okay.
That was gonna be my question.
Oh,
That
runoff.
was raised from the audience. This is not a winner take all election. It still requires 50% plus one. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yes.
That's correct. That's correct, Commissioner Stein.
Thank you.
Of course, unless we go to what do you call instant runoff? or
Ranked
whatever.
choice.
Ranked choice. Okay, thank you for clarifying. I'm just so sorry that a caretaker is. I just wish people could have a voting member, but I understand what the commissioner said. They're not elected, so they can't vote on behalf of their district. Thank you.
I never thought I had a vote for it either. Maybe we're overappointed.
Commissioner Stein, to your question, I think the cost to the district outweighs the cost of running the election in this situation. That's my personal opinion. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I'm sorry, Commissioner Morrison and then Levine.
So I thought an interesting question was raised in the public comment about suggesting that the person who is the caretaker is not a person who would be eligible to run. I don't know if your committee talked about those eventualities.
I believe they did.
The ad hoc disposed of it.
Yeah, the committee did, and then the ad hoc, yeah. Decided not to advance that. Commissioner, well, actually, City Attorney, did you have a comment related to something we've discussed already?
Yes, I want to make a correction. Please. I understand the language about appointing a person to hold the office temporarily. I believe that's a voting member. This is not a caretaker.
Yeah,
That's
my
voting
question.
member.
there's nothing in the text here unless it's covered in other sections that would indicate a placeholder, or, sorry.
Hold
Yeah,
the office.
Yeah,
That's what
so I believe there's other language maybe coming up at the next meeting that's dealing with caretakers, but this is a voting person.
All right.
We literally went over this.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Think about the lack of clarity 3 weeks ago. Here we go.
Any further questions on the commission? All right, seeing none, I will call a vote on approving item 1C. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent, Commissioner Mack,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes, Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent, Commissioner Stein.
Just so I can give my friend Melinda a bad time, I'll say I am a reluctant yes.
Motion passes. We now move on to item 1D, and I'll hand it to Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. This item involves Ethics Commission approved reforms. Let me just. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. Subsection D. Remove charter section 803 LAUSD and add to a municipal code. The explanation for this is removes charter section 803 and adds it to the municipal code to allow more flexibility in updating the rules and regulations. This is more of a wrong D.
That explanation is kind of.
So we have the new red line language, and this is just making the section a little, giving it a little more clarity in the charter.
Commissioner Field.
My question is very simple. Is the school board aware of this? Have they been contacted? Have they been told about this? Have we had any input from the current school board and or the current superintendent? Although I can't blame that individual if he's not quite up to date, but I mean, are we doing this just,
To
randomly?
make the elections consistent.
Okay, Commissioner Field, to your question, I know that the staff did consult with staff of the school board. I do not know if the
The board
superintendent,
itself,
yes, but I know that they did consult with staff.
school board staff?
Yeah, and this came from, sorry. This was in concert, I believe, with the Ethics Commission as well. It was working on this.
The which commission?
The Ethics Commission.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not a policy difference, it's just making the elections
Yeah,
consistent.
uniform.
Yeah.
No,
There
thank
is
you.
a significant
I just
policy
like to see if the people. who
The
have to
school
know.
board policies are outdated. This ties the school board policies to the mayor's races. So it allows us to
Commissioners-
have consistency
Commissioners,
with the city.
Are there any further questions?
Why is the executive director not explaining what's in front of y'all for a vote?
All right, I see no further questions. I will call a vote on, I will make a motion to approve item D. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Stein seconds the motion.
Give it to Commissioner.
Commissioner Murray seconds the motion. All right, I'll call a vote on approving item D. Commissioner Gonzalez is absent. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes. Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
motion passes. We now move on to item 1E. Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. This item is item E. Apply the LAUSD process for adjusting contribution limits to city contribution limits. Align city contribution limits with the LAUSD process for adjusting contribution limits, making them every 4 years for both city and LAUSD elections. And I also direct your attention to the handout in item E, which is lengthy, but the red line sections are brief, and I know Commissioner Fields had some questions. I hope that the last answer satisfied you, but if you have any further questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Commissioner Field.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So on the previous one, we put the school board aligned with the city. This one is to align the city with the school board in terms of charter language on campaign contributions? Or is it just kind of a mirror thing? Did I not say that?
Adjusting.
I mean, the other one we did, making them more like the city, now we're making the city more like. the
There was a
school.
little give and take. So this is, I believe the city was at annual, if not biannual basis, and this is, and the school board was every 4 years. There aren't campaigns every year. First off, so that was one fix, so they just aligned everyone to 4 years. So
I have another question. On item 9, this is, well, the pages aren't numbered, but I guess it's the third page.
oh, sorry.
No elected city officer or candidate for elected city office, nor any of his or her control committees shall use contributed funds to make any contributions to any other candidate. Okay. I believe in my experience that when I was done running for office, after serving 4 terms and a long sentence, but anyway, if we had money left, we could give it to nonprofits, we could return it to the donors, and I'm pretty sure we could donate it to other campaigns, but I may be wrong. I wonder if our city attorney knows. I mean, I don't want to take away something from someone who's all done being an elected official and has leftover money. But I may remember wrong.
Brandon, I don't know the answer to your question.
I believe that, I understand, when you were our illustrious, LA, Community College District representative, I believe the rules are different, but I believe for the city.
Good point,
These are
good point. We had a lot less rules,
And
a
in
lot
this-
fewer.
In the state legislature, they could freely give and take, but
Right,
I don't
okay.
believe that's the same with the city.
Perfect, thank you. I appreciate the referral.
And thank you for your service, ma'am.
It was in the dinosaur age.
Commissioner Stein.
I have a couple of questions that are not based on language changes, which just seem outdated for the charter. I mean, if you go to paragraph 7, contributions from non-individuals. We on the same page? 7.
Yeah.
Okay, it says that a control committee can't do more than this in A, B, and C. Doesn't that violate the Supreme Court case? Where there's unlimited amounts of IEs, and so therefore.
Again, this is, the city has different rules. This was litigated, I was not on that committee, but this was litigated and we talked about it in an ad hoc committee. The committee did not, they chose differently than I would have wanted, but, yeah, so Citizens United, that doesn't necessarily.
But I don't see how.
Control committees are different from independent
Yeah.
expenditures. Control committees can coordinate with the candidate, independent expenditures cannot. So this does not regulate independent expenditures because of the reason that you are bringing up.
I knew that you went to law school.
I did not.
And,
I did though.
and my condolences. In paragraph G is in George, small number 2.
Which,
G2. G little 2. 2 dots.
The pages are numbered.
oh, that's okay, just give me a second.
I
Got it,
want to make sure you read everything.
got it.
Okay. Does our change in 245E have any effect on the 245 there, which is basically used for land use decisions?
Yeah, ethics is exempt from 245.
As much as I like Mr. Kwan, I'm gonna listen to what my commissioners say, but that has no effect. And I basically read this for nothing.
This is related to 245. 245E is specific to land use.
I have one last question. How did they go from a civil enforcement fine from 2,000 to 15,000? I mean, that seems like a fairly steep increase.
Yeah, based upon the continued malfeasance that's been happening in the city over the past 10 years. And the fines, people began to think that those were a slap in the wrist. And based upon the last ordinance that was, the last measure that was approved by the citizens of Los Angeles, the limits were raised.
My other question is just a technical one on civil enforcement. Keeps talking about the city attorney is gonna do this and the city attorney is gonna do that. If we have a bifurcated city attorney's office and the city attorney, with the label that we gave him, is nothing but a criminal prosecutor, shouldn't be a different name that is substituted for city attorney in that paragraph? I realize we still have to have the language for the bifurcation. The council still has to approve the bifurcation and the voters still have to pass by 50% plus one of the bifurcation. But in that event, shouldn't there be some type of placeholder or something that takes that into account?
I believe in our conversations with city attorney that, you know, when the separate action that you will likely take on or to this point have taken on on bifurcation. We will bring you language on most of those changes at that time to vote. So these changes,
Wait, who will bring?
when we bring you language, when we bring you charter language on city attorney,
Which is Tuesday.
which is Tuesday. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so until then, we aren't proactively making changes throughout all your documents, assuming that yet. That makes sense. We can.
Those are my questions, and I move the motion to give it. Nobody else wants to speak.
Commissioner Stein, just Commissioner Stein moved a motion. I will second Commissioner Levine.
Just clarification, on Tuesday, you will bring us language that reflects all areas in the charter in which you are suggesting a change of powers around the city attorney.
Yes.
Okay.
Because to Commissioner Stein's point, there are sections just devoted to city attorney.
Yeah.
There will be a new section devoted to city prosecutor. And then throughout the entire charter, there are references to what some would say is the old city attorney or the city prosecutor. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm aware, I'm just
Yeah,
clarifying.
yeah. So we basically are we're doing our research to make sure we found every reference and aligning that, because some will stay the same as city attorney. And some will change to city prosecutor.
If we could just, we will have that discussion on Tuesday. If we could just keep the discussion to item Commissioner Field.
Well, okay, maybe this is, all I can say is before I vote for E, I want to be sure. And I appreciate what our executive director has said about the process of going through everything and finding all these little things. But I do want to make sure that the narrative, such as it will be, will make clear to council and anyone else who cares that you did that. That in other words, if the council chooses to put E on the ballot and doesn't choose to put the bifurcation, I mean, how's that going to be explained? Because then
Well, they will have to do the
they'll
explanation.
have to clean it all up.
Correct. And they will go through their process to do that. Any other questions on item 1E? All right, seeing none, Commissioner Stein has moved a motion to approve 1E. I will call for a vote. Commissioner Andrés is absent. Commissioner Field,
Yes,
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes. Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
motion passes. We're gonna move on to item 1F. I'm gonna have Commissioner Murray introduce it, and then I'm going to introduce a substitute amendment for consideration with Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. This is item F, specify in the charter that additional public financing models are permissible. The explanation includes broad, non-limiting language permitting the city council to consider additional public financing models for candidates beyond the existing matching funds program.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray. On item F, Commissioners, we received public comment and written public comment on a few changes. I had a brief discussion with the city attorney. He did not opine on the policy implications, but did say that these would not make any fixes that would require additional research from a legal lens. So the substitute motion that I'm going to approve has 4 small changes, which I will go through, and they were submitted, as I said, in written public comment and reviewed verbally. In A2 capital C, A2 capital C says to provide a source, and then in the new red line language would strike the word limited. So the sentence would read to provide a source of public funding for qualified candidates for elected city office. In B, limitations and regulations, the change is in the second sentence. It strikes out the word partially in the second sentence. I will read it. The city shall adopt by ordinance regulations concerning the use of public funds to finance qualified campaigns for city office.
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
It strikes the word partially.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No problem. And then on the other side of the page, on C1, appropriation of funds, in the first sentence, it currently reads the city council shall appropriate, and then insert the 2 words at least. So it would read the city council shall appropriate at least $2 million per fiscal year for public campaign funding. And then the last change in the substitute amendment will be at the last item 4, C4. It adds a phrase at the end of the sentence, and so I'll just read the entirety of it. The funds used to make payments to candidates who qualify to receive public campaign funding shall come exclusively from city sources of revenue, no period, and it will insert the following phrase, or funds granted to the city by other governmental entities for the purpose of public campaign financing, period.
Can you say that last sentence a little bit slower?
Yes. It deletes the period at the end of the sentence and says, or funds granted to the city by other governmental entities for the purpose of public campaign financing. To move that substitute amendment, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fuentes. Okay, discussion on item 1F.
Go.
All right, seeing Commissioner Fuentes.
Yeah, I agree.
1F as amended.
I was just gonna say, I appreciate you already going and checking with the city attorney about what these changes actually mean, and I fully support the amended motion.
All right, seeing that no other vote, we will take a vote on the substitute motion. Commissioner Andrade is absent. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack.
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes. Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein.
Yes.
Motion passes. We now move on to item 1M, Commissioner Murray.
Thank you. This is item M. The the section. Protected budget and independent legal counsel per independent redistricting commission, also known as the IRC. The explanation is grants them the independent redistricting commission a protected budget and independent legal counsel on a limited case-specific basis, and there is also red line language in this. Thank you.
I'll move a motion to approve item one M. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fuentes. All right, any discussion? Commissioner Field.
I just want to, I'm sorry, be sure I understand. I think it's currently common practice for there to be a list of outside law firms, such as the kind that do get hired, you know, for whatever reason that the city attorney cannot accommodate the needs of the council around, let's say, LASA or homelessness or whatever lawsuits. Would this process describe the commission and city attorney shall approve a panel of law firms or attorneys from which the commission, in other words, it'll be the standard process in which the panels develop based on applications from various law firms who want to work for the city. I mean, I just want to make sure, oh, here he comes. I mean, because I know about those panels and how they're, you know, created and whatnot.
The answer is yes.
Okay, so the language here pretty much structures it the way it is normally done, city attorney
It
and.
doesn't say, but I have every reason to think we follow the normal process, right?
Okay, because giving the commission some of the, normally is it done by council committees or departments or just by city attorney developing the panel?
So, there's usually an RFP for the panel. I mean, in this case, it would be both the commission and the city attorney that would have approval authority,
Okay,
right?
okay, just checking, thank you.
Any further discussion on item one M? All right, Commissioner Field.
Sorry. Item C, commissioners shall be compensated as provided by ordinance. Is that currently there?
Yes.
And my understanding is, thanks to my very good friend, Commissioner Stein, many years ago, it was determined that no commissioner can get any kind of compensation. I'm just wondering why that's still there. Maybe because they'll change it someday? I don't know, again, you know, commissioners used to get some kind of stipend or per diem.
$50. That's
Okay.
all we paid them.
Okay, and you decided.
I didn't, Mayor Reardon decided.
Okay, I know you told me it was during your active time, but I'm just wondering, do we just leave this there in case the council decides commissioners should get compensated?
Well, just to answer, right now, as we all know, the Board of Public Works is the only commission, is that correct? That gets
Right,
paid, and so by ordinance, that's the only one that's there.
There are some commissions where they get.
But this gives them the ability for council
Okay.
to do that.
good, okay, no, I just wanna make sure, thank you.
Commissioner Thomas, welcome. I want to know for the minutes that Commissioner Thomas has arrived. Commissioner Thomas, any ex parte disclosures?
Yes.
All right.
Talk to.
It's a brief disclosure.
I don't necessarily. You don't have to say that if you don't know the staffer's name, you don't have to.
I don't know his full name, it was a staffer. And so I was informing him that I was hoping to have a meeting with the mayor.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Is that it? Email, is that it? When? Right after the commission meeting last year. I have witnesses.
Thursday, 7:30.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Any other further discussion on item one M? All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve in a second. We'll call a vote. Commissioner Gonzalez is absent. Commissioner Field,
Yes,
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent, Commissioner Mack,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes, Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent, Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, what is it?
I mean, why can't he abstain? He just walked in. Yeah, that's not right.
I have to ask the city attorney. Unless you want to walk out. Just very briefly.
Y'all want me to walk out?
There's an administrative code section, you're not allowed to abstain. So if you're in the meeting, your options are voting voting no, or anything else is gonna count as a yes.
Wait, what's anything else?
Then yes.
Thank you. Okay, motion passes.
Take it right.
You would like.
We now move on to, actually, we now move on to item 2, consideration and possible approval of potential planning and infrastructure charter language. This is, item number, Commissioners, this is item number 2, explanation of 104G, charter change. This is we just approved a motion, was it on Tuesday? I think it was on Tuesday to strike, section 104G, from the charter. This is the business enterprise section. And before us is the red line charter language to repeal that section. Commissioner Levine, if you want to say anything else or move the motion to approve.
I'll move the motion.
All right, I'll second. Discussion. This is on removing 104G.
Right?
This is so we can solve asphalt and have
So the
weddings.
council can have unison.
All right. I will call a vote. This is on approval of removing charter section 104G. Commissioner Andrés is absent. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes. Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes. We now move on to item number 3, consideration and possible approval of potential charter amendments on the preamble. There is a motion by Commissioner Fuentes, and there's a document for your reference, preamble of the charter of the city of Los Angeles. Commissioner Fuentes.
I'm excited to introduce this motion today, just to bring us a preamble, which is long overdue for our city's charter. Many other major cities in the US have preambles in their charters that are statements of value similar to this that I have in front of us today. And we also received a letter from Erwin Chemerinsky, again, just encouraging us to use a preamble and include one, which is one of his regrets in the process. So I'm excited to right that wrong.
I'll second it.
I want to thank Commissioner Fuentes for putting this forward and for working on this. I also want to just remind commissioners who may not have, know this, but the preamble is not a legally binding section of the charter. So I just wanted to make sure you all knew that. Commissioner Field.
Yeah, just for clarifications, this was developed by that process, the Civic Assembly or whatever it was called. That, in other words, this document comes from this thing where a bunch of people got together and they all had different life experience and they put this together. Is that correct?
Not in its entirety, but portions of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so who can supply the other portion?
Commissioner Fuentes worked on it.
Looks good.
I think it's well written.
That's right.
Commissioner Mack.
Yeah, I think just for the record, I wanted to appreciate that the language around, including cultures and languages of residents in LA was included, which we voted on as a full commission. And so I think, again, just really happy that it made it in here. And I think it's going to allow for just more community participation in the future. So wanted to name that.
Any further discussion?
I would. Can I add a friendly amendment? I would just like, because I know I do like equitable access, information service and civic participation. I would also like to include repair, which could include structural change and transformation. Not in those words specifically. But I think one of the things that I've been saying, quite often is that when I hear diversity, inclusion, and equity, and belonging, and all those things, that's great. Help to develop that for our university. But it typically does not mean Black people. And so I would like to just find a way, I don't know if we have to do it.
We do have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I would put more equitable systems.
And we're looking at the last line of the first paragraph,
Okay,
which is addressing.
we commit to confronting past and present injustices, healing historical harms, and building systems that uplift the well-being of all Angelenos. So what language is being proposed to change?
The language is, in just his healing historical harms and building more equitable systems that repair the well-being of all Angelenos.
Instead of uplift, repair.
That redundant?
I think that's redundant.
It already says equitable, healing, repairing.
Well, repair is different from, in other words, go get some counseling, but.
You wanna change healing to repair? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that Commissioner Fuentes did an excellent job. We've had input from Rewrite LA and other groups, and it's beautifully written, and I understand, I think the spirit of what Commissioner Thompson is trying to say is already in this document.
Yes, what are you saying?
So you're taking away uplift to make repair, or you're taking away healing?
I'm taking away. I can take away healing, but it's gotta be known that this needs to be consistent with what is coming. And so there needs to be language that talks about repair. So that people understand what it is we are attempting to do. If it's not in there, then there is a way.
They're the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
They're
It's not the same thing, trust me, it's not the same thing.
Wait, is there an amendment?
Just
Motion.
Let me do the amendment, let me do the amendment. So. Rather than. Going back to what, you can keep the healing, and then just. And instead of uplift, repair. Those are two totally different.
So Commissioner Thomas, just so we're clear, your amendment is to
Put more in front of
replace uplift with
repair,
repair.
and to put more equitable systems.
So
So building more equitable systems. That repair the well-being of all Angelenos. So that would include repairing the well-being of those who are impacted by houselessness, those who are being kidnapped on our
So
streets.
before we get into the discussion, I wanna make sure we have, and then, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clarify the amendment. I'm gonna go to Commissioner Levine for a possible friendly amendment. But that's how I'd like to do it, just to, so we're all tracking. Commissioner Thomas, I wanna make sure that I have the sentence read according to your amendment. The last sentence, we commit to confronting past and present injustices, healing historical harms, and building more equitable systems that repair the well-being of Angelinos. Is that your amendment?
That is my amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Levine?
Commissioner Thomas, if I may, I wonder if we might capture the spirit of your amendment more cleanly if we simply add and repairing to after confronting. So we commit to confronting and repairing past and present injustices, healing historical harms and building systems that uplift, etc.
I would accept that, but I'd like the more in front of equitable systems, more equitable, building more equitable systems.
Building more equitable systems, so that in this,
Healing it.
we repeat equitable in two sentences, which I think is fine given what the intent is, but we commit to confronting and repairing past and present injustices, healing historical harms, and building more equitable systems that uplift the well-being of all Angelinos.
I can go with that. I can go with that.
All right, so that's a friendly amendment.
So I can withdraw mine.
No, yours is still there. Yours is still there.
It's a friendly on a friendly.
It's a friendly on a friendly, wow. And then, Commissioner, Fuentes, I assume you're okay with the friendly on friendly amendments, okay. So the motion as amended is we commit to confronting and repairing past and present injustices, healing historical harms, and building more equitable systems that uplift the well-being of Angelinos.
Love it. Thank you, Commissioner Levine.
Anytime.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, I will call a vote on the motion as amended. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine.
Mr. Thomas, you can expect my invoice next 50 days or 12. Yes.
My salary percent.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Matt,
Yes.
Commissioner Messa votes yes. Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent. Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We're done.
Oh, wait, now commissioners, I have a feeling there might be other potential motions that may be wanted to be made, so before we do ex parte, is there any further business? Commissioner Stein?
In listening to the public today, I thought they made a very good point that the commission should be in a situation that we have one last chance to review the entire document before the button is pushed to send it over. Somebody suggested a March 31st date. I don't have a problem with that date. At the same time, this might be theoretical, but you know, the thing was sent over on this April 3rd. What are they gonna say? Oh, we're not gonna accept it. I mean, it's the first day of Passover, and you know, it's basically Easter. I mean, they're really gonna just jump on this the moment they get it, but if it needs to be limited, I would like to put a motion on the next agenda, because this is not an agendized item today, that calls for the final report to be reviewed by the commission prior to the time and making any changes. You know, if we find something that doesn't conform to what we suggested and voted on. And therefore then send it on the appropriate date to the city council.
Could we do that on a Saturday morning?
Is there a second to Commissioner Stein's motion?
Second.
I'll second it, because
Well, there's a second by Commissioner Levine, but I also have a similar concern to what you're gonna raise, Commissioner Field. Commissioner Field,
You can be.
I could read your facial expression.
I'm a lousy poker player.
Oh, you have a nice visor for poker.
think my concern is the concept of, being able to change it. I mean, I'll be honest, I think we should see it. I'm pretty sure it will be beyond alteration at that point. I hope, believe, pray, etc., that it will not have any egregious problems. I think seeing it before it's sent is valuable, and if we could have a quorum March 31st, April 1st, whatever it is, when the staff is finished. I think that's something I would vote yes on, but I just don't think it'll be feasible to actually include the idea that we would actually make changes. I mean, it would be frankly a bit of a perfunctory process, but we're between rocks and hard places. So I don't know if Commissioner Stein's open to taking out that part.
Before Commissioner Stein responds, if that's okay, I would like to say, I do appreciate the public's input on this. I do think that it would be a benefit for the public and for the commission to see the final draft. I do believe that for all the reasons that Commissioner Field laid out, I would be opposed to the motion as currently written for the same reasons. I do feel that if there is something that comes up as we review the final document that would have if there's resounding input from the commission on something that absolutely should be changed, I know the staff will. I can tell you as the chair of the commission, I will work with the staff to make sure that those changes would be, but I'm also concerned that we would get into wordsmithing and so Commissioner Stein, I think I understand your intent, but I have the same reservations that Commissioner Field has, and so I would ask if you could modify your motion.
I don't know how to modify it. If you say that if we come up with differences and that you're gonna make sure, which I know you will, and you've been so diligent throughout this entire thing, I give my hat off to you, literally and figuratively. But if you're gonna do that, what's wrong with giving us power to go back and make changes? I'm not suggesting in my motion, we're gonna add a 103rd motion that we're gonna pass.
But that could happen theoretically.
But that's not what my intent is. My intent is to go through it. You call it wordsmithing, I call it, perhaps finding a better way to describe what the vote of the commission was. Believe me, this motion is not intended to add anything, because I've been against adding a lot of the motions that have come late in the game and have voted against those motions only because when they were presented, not because of the fact I thought they were necessarily wrong. So I'm open to a suggestion of how you want to word it. But I thought giving us this power to review and make changes covered the concerns both that Mona has and that you have, right?
Commissioner Morrison.
So, would it not be true that once the document is prepared and it's going to be transmitted to city council, we're all going to read it? And obviously those of you who have been very close to this for the past 9 months or so, if something jumps out at you that does not reflect what you recall happening, you have another opportunity to show up at city council or whatever committee is actually working on to say, this appears to be incorrect based on what I recall. But I do worry that, especially because not everyone's been at every meeting, even tonight we have discussions about things happening that somebody doesn't remember, that it might end up becoming a big wordsmithing exercise. So would not we have the opportunity to say something publicly if it does not reflect what you all remember?
Commissioner Levine and then Commissioner Stein. Commissioner Levine.
I believe that the value of having such an opportunity is not just in the opportunity for us all to get our final, punches in here, but also, and I think more importantly for this document and Maybe it will not be in its final state, maybe it will be in a near final draft, but for it to be substantively agendized to the public, which absent this being agendized at a future meeting would not happen until it would be transmitted as part of the council file, I believe. So I do believe there's value in moving forward with such a meeting. And then for me, it's about making sure that the report is substantively agendized to the public, not wordsmithing.
Commissioner Stein and myself and then Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. The problem I have is something Ms. Morrison said, that I don't want to be in that position. When we send this document, I personally plan to lobby some of the council members to support the recommendations of the commission and to answer questions that council member may have concerning our report. I don't want to go in there and say, oh no, we put that in there, but that's not really what we meant. So let me clarify it with you. And they're going to look at the document and say, what do you mean? You guys met for 9 months. You know, and now you're telling me what you sent forward. What else is in this report that doesn't reflect what the commission wanted to see? And it's for that reason why I feel it is better to allow us to make those small changes. And again, I'll repeat, I'm not looking to change this, but staff is great. But they, like anybody else, makes mistakes or recollections or whatever the case may be. And I'd like whatever the finished product is to be the best that it can be I'm just talking for myself, to allow me to go to council members and say, this is what I believe we need to do. And again, I'm going to repeat myself just for Ms. Murray's benefit. Melinda and I really took it. I don't want to go in having to admit that we wrote it wrong and this is what it really is. That's just not the way to try to convince people to side with what you have.
Myself and then Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Stein, you and I agree on 95% of this, which is I also want to prevent any confusion that I want people to see the report, commissioners to understand what's in the report. I am also not under no illusion, and I would never prevent or even hope, because I think it's unrealistic, that there are going to be commissioners that are going to, in their discussions with council offices, also talk about other issues that have come up in this process that did not make it into the final report. And that's their right, and I fully expect that. But what I am trying to prevent and why I cannot support the motion is what I know will happen is a series of votes on substantial word changes, on grammar, on a variety of things. And that may not be your intent, but any member of this body can make a motion with a second that requires discussion and a vote.
Could I answer that before Mr. Thomas? We've had a lot of motions here that tried to, in one way or the other, limit the time period that we could speak. Would you feel more comfortable and said that this particular issue should not exceed 2 hours, should not exceed 90 minutes, whatever it is, so it doesn't go into this rambling of let's change this, let's change that, let's do that. It forces people, if there's really something substantive there that they believe is wrong, on which the commission already voted. I'm not looking to say, oh, let's open up the discussion and see whether or not we want to reverse section 1, paragraph A3. I'm limiting it, and maybe that will help convince you that you can support my motion. If we limit the time and limit the subject matter, that it is not reopening questions, but trying to fill in what perhaps was written incorrectly.
Yes, let me think about that. The answer is yes. Commissioner, I will make a friendly amendment shortly. Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out how many pages are we.
Question.
It's gonna be late.
So if this,
Yeah, it's gonna be over 100 because of the appendices. It's gonna be over 100.
So if it's over 100 pages. Is it realistic? I'm gonna vote here, but is it realistic that we can do that in this room?
Discipline, we can do it.
It might depend when staff gets it to us.
It's gonna, I mean, if it's over 100 pages. I mean, seriously, if it's over 100 pages, we would have had to get that much earlier, right? Like next week, realistically. And have some time to really digest that. Now, I have every confidence that if this document is able, or even in its draft form, if this document was able to be put up on the website next week as in draft form, then I'm sure that all of the activists in this room, the people that are paying attention to this, are going to just go over that document with a fine tooth comb.
Oh, yeah.
And then that gives us the opportunity to address the grammatical errors. No, I'm just saying. No, so, but again, if we are, because I think that they've been here, they've done a great job, and I think what ultimately they want to make sure is that we're not shamming them. That's what they really want to know. They want to know that this document is going to be reflective of the time that they have spent here. They don't want it to be, like the things that they don't want kind of pushed inside of this and not know. So I think part of what you're getting at, Chairman, is the fact that if it is released earlier on the website, that gives people the opportunity to scour the document on their own, then to come prepared to talk about that. And then I like, in terms of Commissioner Stein's 2 hours, I think that would be more than enough. You think that's too long?
I'm gonna make a amendment on that in a minute, but finish your thought, Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, I'm saying I think you could limit it. Because if you're anything like some of my students, you will not have read the document. And you won't have much to say. So anyway, so I think that if we're not gonna have it in the time frame, and of course, this would be whether or not you all do it.
I'm going, so Commissioner Thomas, so a few things. So one is, I'm gonna reserve my right to make an amendment. We have a meeting next Tuesday. We are assuming that we will complete everything next Tuesday. That is well within our power and our control to do that. We know that meeting will go late. Staff, that is next Tuesday. The earliest I can see, and this may not even be possible, the earliest I could see would be it being released on Friday, the 27th. At the earliest. I'm sure Justin, yeah, and I know it's gonna be very hard. It's a long document. Would we like to release it as early as possible for all those reasons? For the commissioners to go through a long document? Yes. For the public to go through a long document? Yes. It was probably more, I'm just being honest, that it would be released Monday morning because they're gonna probably want to work through the entire weekend. Because I know this group, I've seen the letters today, I've seen the letters all along. They're gonna be dragged for typos, for grammatical errors, and I can hear it right now. Commission staff don't know anything, where did they come from, where did they get it? Like, this, we already see it on a daily basis. And we are setting up the staff for failure by saying, we're gonna do a ton of votes on Tuesday, get it ready in 3 days. So I
don't think, I think
But-
my motion should include that we don't do that. I mean, because this is the other thing too. I think the assumption is, and I think the issue and the problem is that staff is going to try to slide something in. right? I think that's what.
I've never thought.
Not you, I'm talking about people that are sitting in these seats. I'm saying that they may feel like we're going to slide something in that they did not want, right? That there will be some language that doesn't represent what it's supposed to represent. And I wouldn't be mad at the fact that they would come to that discovery if they do. So I'm not upset about that. I think that is your right. That is your right. But what I am saying is that I think we are kind of dealing with a straw man here. And, you know, I think that it would be nice for that opportunity to exist for people who want to take it.
I agree. So I'm gonna make an amendment to Commissioner Stein's motion that we limit debate to 60 minutes. On this item, we will get it posted as soon as we can get posted. I don't know, it'll be Friday or it'll be Monday, but it will be posted. Everyone's just gonna have to hunker down and go through it and read it. And, you know, people will do the conversations like they do with the public within the Brown Act, all that stuff. We will go into the meeting on the 31st. We will have the staff walk us through the document. We will then have, if Commissioner Stein agrees with the amendment, and then we will have an hour to make any motions that we feel are necessary.
I will accept that under one condition, that you add in and that no one will be able to relitigate issues that we have already decided. So it does not become a discussion of what we have done.
I'm good with that. Are you? You're the mover.
I'm good with that and I accept your friendly amendment.
Okay.
I have a question.
Commissioner Field.
Yeah.
And then Commissioner Marston.
And we probably need to have it fully restated, but you're talking about a 1 hour meeting, but another
1 hour
discussion. So, and another hour of public comment, I presume.
Yes,
required.
and CIS.
And I know the 31st is just eons from now, but do you have any sense of what time you would be starting this 2 hour meeting? 1 hour public comment, 1 hour discussion.
Can I also ask that you don't lock in a date?
Uh-huh.
One, I think you're just agendizing this to be voted on Tuesday, whether or not you're gonna have a meeting, right? Or are they able to vote right now on having the meeting?
No, well, I can make the agenda.
That's true, and you as chair can.
But I want instructions from look, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Would April Fool's Day be better? Do it April?
Not, actually,
That's
that's
over.
yeah.
No,
First other pass.
we should.
I think we should meet the deadline.
We should do it on the 31st so that we can meet the deadline, because there will be maybe some changes and you're gonna need some time to adjust them to meet the deadline.
I mean, at that point, I'm honestly thinking we might, and I can talk to the commissioners about this, but I might just strip the structure of the report and just make it charter reform language and appendices.
No, we will talk.
Cause we will,
We will talk on this, but this is what, and there's a queue. But what we can do is, so that, because commissioners have to plan, and then we'll continue with the discussion, is to have a meeting on the 31st. That is a Brown Act meeting, so there'll be all the bells and whistles with that. And there will be, after a presentation of the draft, in whatever form the draft is in at that time, we will then have an hour of discussion, and I imagine that I will have to pass the rules for that at the next meeting. Or can I pass the rules today? The rules of the debate.
I don't think you can do that now.
Correct.
And look, once you have a meeting, as long as if 7 of you, as long as within the Brown Act description, if 7 of you decide to do something, you can do it. So let me just be clear. It is gonna be, if you say, well, we don't wanna relitigate it, we just wanna like check it. That's gonna be up to you collectively to self-enforce that. Because I'm not gonna be able to tell you, you can't do it, right? So one way you might wanna proceed with this.
But we can create rules for debate.
Yes, you can. You'll have to put that on the agenda for the next time.
Yeah.
And then adopt them. And one thing you might want to do, kind of like the council does with the budget, is you literally start with page one. See if anybody has any proposed changes on page one.
Oh, no, we're not finished with that. But we will also.
You would all surprised how quickly that can go through. actually.
Okay, we will discuss so I think, thank you, city attorney, I think we got what we needed. I had Commissioner Morrison and then Commissioner Field.
My question was answered because I asked about public comment. but-
Commissioner Field.
I would just, if you don't mind, Justin, coming back for a second. Is it not true that some of this we did a while ago, maybe not the actual charter language, but the concept? I mean, haven't you guys been kind of working towards this document?
I mean, we've been collecting, so a lot of this document is data.
Yeah.
That we've been collecting, continuing collecting. Some of it, some of the sections, like the executive summary in front, is something that has to be, that is gonna be written.
Yeah.
That is not, that is not something that, but it's gonna be based on factually, what you all have done. And then other side, so the two sections that are pretty much set in stone, truly the legally binding sections, to be clear, the legal sections, the sections that is the section on charter reform. That is really the only thing that technically, and then the next section that you have also directed to send to council is the appendices.
But more important
I'm just-
and the public has been asking for this, and commissioners have been asking for this, and this was in the outline. People have been asking in the letters, and I don't know if the people are paying attention to the discussions we're having, and I'm sorry, I'm frustrated because we had this discussion on Tuesday. And we had a vote that was unanimous, and it's pretty wild how some opinions change after a unanimous vote. When we talked about this process, and there were plenty of opportunities for questions, that's fine, we're opening it up again 48 hours later. In the outline are core themes, and there are core themes because there has been a wish. And we instructed the staff to build upon the narrative, to talk about how we got here, to talk about the story, to talk about the ways in which we want to craft this. So it was never gonna be just the charter language. It was never gonna be just the descriptions. And why people had that thought, I don't know, because it was on the outline that was publicly posted, discussed, and voted on unanimously by this body. And so that's why when Justin said earlier, it could just be the descriptions. I said, absolutely not, because we owe more to the city to have a story of the work that we did here. And that's what's in the outline that you all approve. So I genuinely don't get it. But what I do get is for the process for people to at least review the document before it's submitted to council. We put in a lot of work. Commissioners deserve, in my opinion, to review it, but the things that have been expressed are in the outline that was already approved. And so there is a motion on the table as amended to agendize. We will have to agendize this motion on Tuesday, everyone, because it wasn't noticed. So on Tuesday's agenda, we will have an agenda item that says the commission will review the final report. And then there will be 1 hour for discussion of the report. And there was one other thing to it, and that will be, and not to relitigate items. And that will be on Tuesday's agenda if we move this vote forward. Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, I really like what you are saying. I do think that there is a lot that has happened on this commission that I do think. But y'all gonna be mad at me when I say this, but I don't know if it's staff's. I don't necessarily want staff writing a narrative about the commission. I think it should be us preparing a narrative. Well, I mean, I'm just throwing that out. I'm not saying that, but I think that because I would volunteer, but not alone. But not alone. No, I have no problem with that. Because I do think that 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 is an important component. And I think that, and again, I don't know what Justin has come up with. I mean, I don't know what your narrative is.
It's basically about me.
Okay, no, but Commissioner, I don't wanna make that a part of your.
I would just say, yeah,
That's what my.
I understand, commission, that staff will write it, we will review it, and if this motion passes, would like to call vote shortly, Commissioner Field.
I know. I would say, I hope this isn't, I mean, I wanna respond to some of your comments, Chairman Mesa, but what we voted to do, frankly, combination of public input in these last 48 hours and, just other concerns that arise sometimes in retrospect. I mean, I'm not questioning what we did the other day. I think what we're doing now, if we pass Commissioner Stein's suggestion, is following up on legitimate input we've gotten in these last few days. And I do want to say, and I think, I don't know how this happens, although I think it can be done as an individual or maybe a subgroup of the commission. Whatever ends up going forward from the commission, I think we all have free speech. And if we want to write a document and send it to the whole council about additional thoughts, or here's what we wish were there and we had not enough time. I mean, anybody could do that, right?
Yes.
Any commissioner. So, I'm just a little concerned, are they bringing a final draft or a final document?
We will see what they have ready.
I make no promises. I will tell you no lies.
All right, so the vote is to agendize an item as described for Tuesday's meeting. Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes,
Yes.
Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent, Commissioner Matt,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes, Commissioner Morrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Murray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez is absent, Commissioner Stein.
Can I vote
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great.
Commissioners, we're gonna do a round of ex parte disclosures. If there's been any conversations since we started the meeting, Commissioner Thomas.
No.
Commissioner Fuentes,
No.
Commissioner Field.
No, but I do want to say, I wonder what happened to the personnel part of this whole thing.
We discussed that at a previous meeting. Commissioner Stein,
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa votes yes, Commissioner Murray.
Wait.
Disclosure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh my God,
No.
I have no disclosure. I have no disclosure.
He's still mad at me, so.
Commissioner Murray,
No disclosure.
Commissioner Mack,
None.
Commissioner Morris,
No.
Commissioner Levine.
None.
Oh
I
boy,
move to adjourn.
I second. Is there any objection? We are adjourned.